So you finally did the grown-up thing. Every month, you quietly move a little cash into savings. $100 here, 200 there. You feel responsible, disciplined, like an actual adult. Then one night, you open your banking app, and there it is. $10,000 sitting in savings, earning about 0.5%. Do the math, and that is roughly $50 for a whole year of being careful. $50. My buddy Pete spends more than that on parking. Your money has basically been taking a nap on the couch while you did all the work. And here is the frustrating part. You keep hearing people talk about investing, index funds, compounding, all of it. And a little voice goes, "Wait, am I doing this wrong?" Saving is good, but saving by itself almost never builds real wealth. That is exactly where most people get stuck. They know they should invest. They just have no idea how to cross that bridge without feeling like they are gambling their safety net. So today I am going to walk you through the exact step-by-step path from saver to investor. Calm, no panic, no risking the money you actually need. Hey, I'm Richard. On this channel, I break down money moves for regular people, not the Wall Street crowd, not trust fund kids. Just real strategies you can actually use this week. If that's your kind of channel, hit subscribe and stick around. Let me start with something that sounds a little rude. Saving money on its own will almost never make you wealthy. Saving matters, but it is not the finish line. It is stage one. Think of it like this. Savings protect your money. Investments grow your money. Those are two completely different jobs, like a security guard and a gardener. You would not ask the security guard to grow your tomatoes. Look at the numbers for a second. Say you park $10,000 in a normal savings account earning 1%. After a year, you have $10,100. Fine. Now imagine that same 10 grand invested instead. Historically, the S&P 500, which is basically a basket of America's biggest companies, has averaged around 10% a year over the long haul. At 10%, your $10,000 becomes $11,000 after 1 year, $1,000 extra. Nice, but honestly not life-changing yet. Here is the part people miss though. The real magic is what compounding does over time. Fast forward 20 years. Your savings at 1% crawls up to about $12,200. That same money invested at 10% turns into roughly $67,000. Same starting pile, wildly different endings. That gap is the whole story. The biggest wealth gap is not really between people who save and people who blow their paycheck. It is between people who save and people who invest. So why does almost nobody make the jump? It is not a math problem. It is a feelings problem. Saving feels safe. Investing feels scary. When your money sits in savings, you can stare at it, and it never moves. It does not randomly drop 5% on some boring Tuesday afternoon for no reason. Investments do move. Up, down, up again. And that little roller coaster in your stomach is what sends people running back to the couch nap. I get it. My friend Jenny told me she would rather earn nothing she could see than risk a number going red. Totally human. And you are probably thinking, okay, Richard, but I do not want to lose my savings. Fair. That is the whole reason you do this in stages, not all in one nervous leap. So let me walk you through the path. First, before you invest a single dollar, build a real emergency fund. That means 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting in cash, in savings, boring and safe. This money is not for investing. It is not for some hot opportunity your coworker whispers about. It is for life punching you in the face. A layoff, a busted transmission, a surprise trip to the ER. Here is the thing most folks never realize. The number one reason people panic and sell their investments at the worst possible moment is that they suddenly need the cash. An emergency fund is what keeps your life from raiding your investments. Second, split saving and investing in your head. This one is huge. Picture two buckets on your kitchen table. Bucket 1 is safety money. It does not move ever. It just sits there, being reliable, like your friend who always shows up on time. Bucket 2 is growth money, and this bucket is allowed to wobble because wobbling is literally its job. Once you mentally separate the two, the fear drops through the floor. When the growth bucket dips, you shrug, because you know your safety bucket has not budged an inch. Third, start small, like embarrassingly small. A lot of beginners think you need thousands of dollars to invest. You do not. Plenty of apps let you start with 50 or $100. And listen, the goal at the beginning is not to get rich. The goal is to build the habit. The same way you did not run a marathon on day one, you just laced up and jogged to the corner. The habit beats the timing every single time. Fourth, keep it simple. This is where beginners faceplant. They dive straight into the deep end, day trading, options, chasing whatever coin is trending, and they get wrecked. The funny truth is the simplest investments usually beat the fancy ones. Take index funds. An index fund just tracks the whole market. So instead of trying to pick the one winning company like it is a lottery ticket, you quietly own a slice of hundreds of them at once. Spread out risk, lower stress, steady long-term growth. Simple, and it works. This is not just me talking. Warren Buffett, probably the most famous investor alive, has told regular people over and over to just buy low-cost index funds and get on with their lives. Now here is the least glamorous secret in the whole game. The most powerful strategy is boring on purpose. It is just investing the same amount consistently month after month. Quick example. Say you put $300 a month into the market, and it averages 8% a year. After 25 years, you would have somewhere around $285,000. Here is the jaw-dropper. You only actually put in $90,000 of that yourself. The other $195,000? That is growth doing the heavy lifting while you slept. That is compounding quietly working the night shift for you. Of course, feelings still get in the way. Investing is uncomfortable at first. The market dips, the news anchors start yelling like the sky is falling, and people panic. This is where discipline is the only thing separating an investor from a gambler. Let me hand you a picture that makes it stick. Saving money is like keeping seeds in a jar on the shelf. They are safe, they are protected, and nothing ever grows. Investing is like taking those same seeds and planting them in soil. At first, it looks like a mess, just dirt, nothing to see, and you feel a little silly. But give it time and things start pushing up, and eventually you have way more than the handful of seeds you started with. And you might be thinking, sure, Richard, but what if I start investing and the market crashes? Great question, and honestly, a smart one. Crashes are normal. They have happened dozens of times, and they will happen again. But here is the twist that flips the whole thing. Long-term investors actually win from downturns. When prices drop, your monthly $300 buys more shares on sale. And when the market climbs back, and it always eventually has, you are holding more of them. That is why seasoned investors stay weirdly calm when everyone else is freaking out. They are thinking in decades, not in bad Tuesdays. So let me tie the whole path together in one breath. You start by building a 3 to 6 month emergency fund in cash. Then you mentally split your money into a safety bucket that never moves and a growth bucket that is allowed to wobble. You start investing small, consistent amounts. You keep it simple with long-term stuff like low-cost index funds. And then you stay disciplined and give compounding the years it needs to do its thing. Because here is the truth people usually learn the slow way. Saving gives you stability, but investing gives you freedom. Put the two together, and the earlier you do it, the more your future self quietly thanks you. So I am genuinely curious. Where are you right now? Still in the saving stage, staring at that $50 interest and feeling that sting? Or have you already started planting those seeds in the soil? All right, that's it from me today. If this saved you a few bucks, or just made the topic make sense, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel keep going. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.